Yeah, well, that's just like your opinion, man.
Yeah, yeah, oh yeah, what condition my condition was in.
Alon, I'm not a big AI guy, but have you seen these George Costanza AI meme makeovers that have been sweeping the internet?
I have seen a few, and they even used it in one of the Super Bowl commercials too. Wasn't that also partially AI? You know what I'm talking about?
If it was a Super Bowl commercial, no, because this just happened like in the last few days, I want to say.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm just saying, I think that they used George Costanza like AI de-aging or something like that
Did
in
they?
one of the Super Bowl commercials.
Yeah, they probably
Yes.
did, yeah.
But no, I have not seen this new version of meme yet.
Okay, I'll show you a little bit of them. I think I sent you one of them. But okay, so I think here, let me know if my screen's popping up. But yeah, so this made me laugh because basically people have gone in and made George Costanza look like more modern. So the whole Terry Bradshaw look where he's got the horseshoe going on.
Yes.
He shaves the sides. He doesn't look bad. Look at this
Oh.
George Costanza with a full bald head, kind of looking like you or me.
Yeah, he kind of looks like a tough guy now. This does kind of look like us.
You don't
He
want
looks
to fuck
good.
with George.
No.
And there's some other ones. Let me look around here real quick. There's some other ones where they make him look like kind of a soldier or like more like tough guy. Like here's one where he's like a Slayer looking dude, like more of a heavy metal guy. If I could pull it up on my screen real quick. Hang on, bear with me, everybody, as it's just you and me right now, Alon, on the live stream. And yeah, here's more rock star looking George Costanza.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, he does. Who is the guy from Slayer? He's always at the Raiders games. He looks just like that guy.
Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. Well, I like original George. I like more modern, contemporary George is okay, I guess. This is a very scary George. I don't think Gary's letting him into the apartment.
Probably not. But I do like the new looking modern George, and I liked it so much I made it my profile picture because everyone says I look like George Costanza and act like George Costanza. Just your opinion, man. Alon to say, Derek Popper, we're coming to you on a Thursday night. We had to move our Wednesday show because Alon was on assignment. Alon, what'd you called in for yesterday?
I was just with some of the local CBS and some of the sanctioning body people for an MMA event. So we went last night and part networking, part working. So it was fine. And we had really good seats. We were about 20 feet away from the cage. So it was pretty awesome. It was over at the Virgin, and it's part of a promotion called Tough Enough, which is a feeder league for the UFC. So their fights are always on Fight Pass, but it was a good event. And then I got to talk to the promoter, the main owner of the promotion. That was good. And then talk to some of the local sanctioning body people, and then also kind of help with what the coverage was going to be like for tomorrow for my buddy's show over on CBS. So that was all fun. It was all fun and good.
No, sounds fun and good. And yeah, glad you were able to do that last night. And, same topics still apply tonight. Nothing going on with LeBron James. We'll get the latest, I guess, with some interviews, what Steph Curry had to say, and Bob Myers appearing on the Max Kellerman and Rich Paul podcast. But let's start with the World Cup. And I know you were texting me. We haven't done a show since Sunday when we were previewing USA versus Belgium. And in the end, Belgium kicked USA's ass, to put it lightly, 4-1. You were texting me after the fact, and you were none too happy about it. So, Alon, just give me your thoughts on what went wrong with the men's national team versus Belgium.
I mean, I hate this kind of analysis because usually it just means, oh, maybe you didn't watch it close enough or there's more things going on. This was just the United States played their worst game of the tournament, and by far. And it was their worst game that they've played probably since they lost to Belgium, I think 5-1 in a friendly almost a year ago now. And so it was very disappointing. But it wasn't just that, tactically maybe they were overmatched in the midfield or things like that. It was just basic things like not running hard enough, not playing to the physical standard that they had earlier. I understand you're not going to be able to dominate the ball like you were against Bosnia-Herzegovina or, throw the turkey game out, but Australia or even Paraguay, who is a pretty good team, and they did a great job against them in the opening game. I get that because Belgium's a really good team, but they just came out with no emotional intensity. Now, part of that is on the players. I mean, you're professionals. You should be able to get yourself up and ready to go, right? I understand there's always off days too. But also a big part of it's on the manager, on the coach, on Pochettino. And for whatever reason, he did not have them ready to go in that moment. I hate putting that on the coach, especially with professionals, because, if you're a professional, you have to hold yourself to a standard and get the job done. So that was a big part of it. There just was no intensity, no passion there. Very disappointing. I think another part of it, though, Christian Pulisic, he just disappears. And I know that he's dealing with a micro fracture in his leg right now, and that's what the full extent of the injury was. And had they made it past Belgium, it's reported that he wouldn't have played in a potential Spain game. I get that, but I'm sick of it. He wears the number 10. He's supposed to be a really good attacking midfielder. He's supposed to be a maestro who dominates the game. We saw 45 minutes of that this entire tournament. He took the Gold Cup off to rest. That's a common theme with him. I need rest. And it's I get it. You go play in Europe, you play in Italy. That's wonderful. And you're our most talented player, but he just disappears. He fades. He does not have that superstar status about him where he's going to show up and carry. And okay, Landon Donovan has had poor performances in the past when he used to play for the national team, Derek. Clint Dempsey did not always play his best. But something that guys like that always did. Tim Howard, even in goal, and he was wonderful. Even when he had a rough game in goal, guys like that always played at their highest intensity, and they made other people better even when they were not at their best. Christian does not do that, so it's very frustrating to watch. Now, I would not call this World Cup a failure. There's an aspect that is a failure. It's not just that they lost to Belgium. It's the fashion in that they lost.
Yeah.
Were favored, and they could have beat Belgium. Belgium played their best game of the tournament against the United States. If they can play that way against Spain, they will give Spain a run for their money. But it's just frustrating, right? Because there is enough talent, at least in the starting 11 on this team, to be able to do some things. They were going to get mollywopped by Spain no matter what. But they could have at least made it to a quarterfinal for the first time since 2002. And they could have, set the bar. Hey, that's the new standard. Now let's get past this. And instead, it seems very much like, yeah, there was some improvement. You did some things. You scored more goals than a U.S. team has ever done in the World Cup. You showed flashes. You got people to get on board. But for whatever reason, you laid an absolute egg against Belgium on home field in Seattle, which was a raucous crowd, and they just weren't able to get it done. So disappointing. I don't want to bag too much on Christian Pulisic. I could go down the list of players who played horribly. Matt Freese is one of them. But at the end of the day, they didn't have the intensity. And from a technical standpoint, the United States was one of the teams during this tournament, I think, ranked 4th in terms of velocity of play, like average player movement speed, right around 6 kilometers. Belgium was above them in that. Belgium was above them in terms of area traversed, miles run, kilometers run. So Belgium not only did some of those things that the U.S. hangs their hat on better than them, but then they also showed up with more technical ability in the midfield, especially. Tim Ream got exposed as a center back, and they just had more intensity. So that's the way it was. And Rockin says U.S. doesn't have a goalkeeper, but a goal giver. Yeah, I mean, Matt Freese, he was not tested a lot during the World Cup. He showed up, made a great save at the start of that game, and then just kind of buckled. I will say this, though. The 2 first goals he gave up were not his fault at all. I mean, they let the striker get through, and Tim Ream was helpless back there, and it was rough. But, yeah, it was tough. It was a tough way to watch them to go out. I don't mind them losing. I don't like the way they lost.
Yeah, and I think that's what everybody's sentiments have been. Like, we talked to Ted Ramey, who's the voice of the San Jose Earthquakes, and he came on with us the next day being like, guys, I'm disappointed. Like, yes, you could lose, but in the fashion that they lost in, it's just embarrassing. And, I don't know what reasonable expectations there were. I think that, as a country, we were riding the high of the Winter Olympics and USA winning in hockey with the men and women. And of course, Team USA losing in the WBC. But I thought that, I think a lot of people were maybe expecting a little bit more with it being here in North America. But I think everyone's reaction was same old, men's national team when it comes to USA in the World Cup. But I do want to get your thoughts on this, Alon. And this is a conversation we were having on KNBR, me and Copes. And I don't want to make this overly political, but I think politics entered the conversation. You and I were talking about it on Sunday when the news broke that Flo Balogun was going to be able to play in this match against Belgium. And it was all about the red card situation. You could debate that was it a red card or not. But I think a lot of people were not happy with the way that Balogun was able to play in this game. And there's a lot of shadiness across sports. Not denying that. But FIFA, I guess, has been notorious with how shady they've been. And then it comes out on Monday morning, people were kind of, wondering, did President Trump get involved? And sure enough, he did. He owned up to it as well. He called the president of FIFA and said, I want Balogun playing. And, we talked about it. My reaction is, I'm happy he played. I'm not going to act like, that's not fair. Life's not fair. Sports are not fair. But do I think it's shady? Absolutely. I don't care who the president is. It's not about that. I don't like politicians getting involved when it comes to athletics. I just don't. So our reaction on, sports radio here was, we're happy that Balogun's playing and we're rooting for the USA tonight, but we can also acknowledge, we don't like the way this was, gone about. And I think a lot of people were on our side, and there's some people that are saying, you guys are fucking commies. How dare you feel this way? Your thoughts, Alon, because I don't think it's even about what you think about the president. I think it's just you don't like politics being involved with sports like that.
Yeah, and that's a common look, most people don't want politics in any shape or form involved, not just in this sport, in any sport. So that's kind of the way it works. Now, this is a little different because it's, equivalent to kind of an Olympic situation, something like that. So it is tied more heavily into the federal government than other sports leagues are. But yeah, that was definitely an element of the story. And President Trump probably didn't have to say, yeah, I called. He didn't have to say it. Of course he was going to say it, though, because that's just what he does.
Right.
But it added another element. It definitely added an element, I think, for a segment of fans or people to be like, well, I don't feel good about this anymore. And look, he did get dealt an injustice. Valerian Balogun did with that red card. That was really bad. And the Soccer Federation called Infantino, who's the president of FIFA, and the president called, and a bunch of other nations have done the same thing. So I'm not saying that in and of itself is horrible, but I also understand the fans and the people who are watching. And I totally get it. If you're European, you're like, oh, what the hell is this? The United States is already hosting. They've already had a very easy path through, and now they're bullying FIFA into doing this. I don't know how much bullying actually happened, but I do know that the optics are horrible. Regarding FIFA, I don't want to call them corrupt, but I will say there are some sports out there that do have corruption or definitely some favoritism that gets shown regularly, and one of them is international soccer with FIFA. The other would be boxing. Those are like the two top when it comes to any kind of corruption or things like that. So I wasn't surprised by the decision. But I can understand why people would feel that way. I don't think it had a massive impact on the game other than the fact that he played. I don't think that's why they lost or anything like that. And maybe it gave some extra fuel to Belgium, but they were already knowing that they needed to play their best game of the tournament, and they did. I think it's one of those unfortunate things, because then we're always going to think like, okay, is this maybe a new standard? And honestly, as long as FIFA is run the way it is, this stuff's going to keep happening, not just with the United States, with all kinds of countries. I will say this, though. There were a segment of fans who said, well, now I'm rooting for Belgium, and now I don't want the United States to win. I have a major problem with those kinds of fans. if that's what it took for you to be like, well, I don't want to win now, like, give me a break. There was no rule that was broken. There's literally Article 27 in their disciplinary code to allow for this kind of thing to happen. You could feel wrong about, it's kind of icky, it's kind of gross, all this kind of stuff, but don't just go and become, Benedict Arnold turncoat kind of deal. I don't like that. And you shouldn't denigrate the players for the decisions that happen outside of their control. And that's what it was. So I get the people being mad about it or not liking it, or more importantly, the spotlight being taken from the team itself and put somewhere else where it shouldn't be. But let's not just abandon the team over it either.
I 100% agree, and I think that there's no excuses. I mean, they got Balogun, they got their ass kicked. And I'll also say, like, some of the reaction. I respect your opinion on this, Alon, because you watch soccer, you know the game, and I think that some people that were caught up in this get overly patriotic, and I have no problem with loving your country and everything, but if that's your whole analysis, I'm sorry, but like, that's kind of lame to me. Like, Robert Griffin III, like, pretty good college football analyst, but besides that, I don't care his opinions on sports. After the match, he tweeted out saying the reason that USA lost is because we're the divided states of America, and you can see that Belgium is more united. That has nothing to do with anything. The bottom line is, it's not true. The bottom line is they lost because of effort, but also I think it's because of a talent problem that Belgium is that much better. So if that's your analysis and you're quickly going to tweet out later like, well, 2 months until football, then you really didn't care in the first place.
In terms of, that's so funny that he tweeted that, because it's off for a number of bases. Like, yeah, we have our political differences in this country, like there are in most countries, especially ones that are democratic, where people can vote. But it's not why the United States lost. Also, his idea of, well, Belgium's truly unified and they care about their country. Belgium, out of all the countries in the EU, they rank lowest in terms of national identity when it comes to, and these are real political studies that have been done, real research, and they are one of the lowest ranking, if not still the lowest ranking country when it comes to national identity and pride. They're just like, we're Belgium. Those people are Flemish and we live in Brussels. Like, I have friends from Belgium and they're like, we don't really give a crap. And I'm just like, you care about your team, but it's not like, it's to make it out to be like, Americans don't have pride in their nation is just BS. And I would say Rockin puts out a really good point here. This is really the thing. All of USA top talent goes to the NFL and NBA. All of our would-be heavyweight boxers in the NFL. It's true. I mean, it really is true.
No, I agree. And I think that we were joking on the radio saying, like, Belgium's really known for the birthplace of Dr. Evil.
Oh, yeah, it's true. And he had his ritualistically shaved testicles. And his father was Belgian, a stern Belgian man.
My father came from Belgium, Summers and Rue, or I forget the whole thing, but like, God, that's such a great monologue where he was like, in the summer we would make meat helmets.
He's and Carrie Fisher is the like group therapist.
Yes.
Going, and how does that make you feel?
Exactly.
It's so good.
And when he drops the testicle, the shaven testicles part, she goes, "We really have to stop here." But yeah, dude. I understand people are disappointed, but it is what it is. And I hope people still watch the World Cup. I'm still watching, and honestly, it's been a lot of fun. Just your thoughts, Alon, on England versus Mexico. Rockin' New Era in the chat here says Mexico was the only country host that didn't go out like suckers. They were down early. They were down early 2-0, but just your thoughts on England getting through the home field advantage of that game being in Mexico City and winning 3-2.
That's only the third time Mexico's ever lost at Estadio Azteca, and to my knowledge. And so, it was very impressive by England. Mexico, I thought was controlling most of the game, and then they give up the 2 goals, and it's like, okay, time to play catch up here. And they tried, and they got to a point where they were playing against a team that was a man down, but credit to England for what they did. I mean, Harry Kane look, he's the best striker in the world who's playing on the international stage right now. Robert Lewandowski did not qualify for the World Cup. Poland didn't. And by the way, he's about to go to the MLS, to the Chicago Fire, so that'll be really fun to watch. But England played really, really well. They had, it's not like Mexico didn't. Mexico had their chances. Rule had multiple headers that could have gone in. I mean, there were some great saves being made out there. So England played a fantastic game. I thought the only bit of not even controversy, but a rough call was, the keeper for Mexico came out, charged the ball, and he collided with the player who was making a run into the box, and they awarded a penalty kick. That was really rough, and that was the nail in the coffin, because otherwise that game is a 2-2 game. But I can't say that, Mexico got screwed over. I thought it was a rough call. That call doesn't always get made like that, but Mexico, they played really well. I do feel bad for them because they're still trying to make it to that quarterfinal and see how deep they can go. And they had a talented team. They had a team that was well constructed, and they had it set up for them in terms of not having to get out of their fortress basically until after that game. And then, we would have seen where they would have had to play after, but they just went up against England, who is not playing their best all the time. But to say that they're not a buzzsaw for most of the teams in the world would be disingenuous, because they are. They're really good. They just sometimes don't put it all together, but they find their moments, and that's what they've been able to do. Similar to what Argentina's been doing this World Cup. They haven't been playing their best the whole time, but they're finding their moments to get by and win.
So I was watching this game, and everybody knows I live right by the Oakland Athletic Club, and it's a big soccer bar. Everybody's, it's filled to max capacity, and everybody just goes absolutely apeshit when those games are going on. The previous match with Mexico against Ecuador, I heard this fan bring in drums, and it was, kind of loud and kind of annoying. I can hear it from my apartment, but whatever. You got your pride for Mexico. It's all good. I know horse in this race. I have family members that are Mexican. I have my friend Stephen Langford and my buddy Alex Longshaw, who are rooting for Team England. But I was watching the match, and the drums were getting a little annoying. Mm-hmm. So I thought to myself, you know what? If England wins, maybe the drumming will cease. So I was like, okay, maybe England wins, and I'll root for that. And honestly, Alon, I felt like the Grinch, where it stopped for a little bit of time, and then once Mexico lost, I was like, it's gone. The drums are finally gone. I can finally think. And then sure enough, the Mexico fans, they fucking partied.
Yep.
They put on music. They started dancing. They lit off their fireworks. It almost was like their version of, in the Grinch, where all the Who's in Whoville put their hands together and like, fa, hu, do, re. That was their like Mexican version of that. And I just sat up from my ivory tower being like, I can't believe this. Maybe there's something more than just a Mexico score. Maybe happiness means so much more. And it turns out the Mexico fans know how to party even when they lose. So props to them going down swinging and losing 3-2 and England advances. Just your thoughts on the other matches. Norway beat Brazil with Erling Haaland. Is that the best way to say it?
Erling Haaland. Yeah.
I had to do a read with I had to do a read the other day with all the soccer stars, and that took me some time. You also had today France beating Morocco 2-0. And the big one, you mentioned it, the comeback with Argentina down 2-0 in the 78th minute to come back and beat Egypt 3-2, not having to go to extra time. Just your thoughts on what stood out lately, Alon, in the World Cup.
Drama. I mean, it's been high drama not every single game, but almost every single game. There was no drama in the United States game. There was not much drama with Canada getting eliminated. But I mean, we've had a ton of good games. I mean, today we had France beat Morocco, which, I mean, I feel kind of bad for Morocco. France has really been giving it to Morocco for the entire existence of Morocco, and then they take it again here on the pitch. But the games have been amazing. Argentina being able to get by the skin of their teeth now in back-to-back games. First Cabo Verde, and then not yesterday, but the day before. It was just like, what is going on? And Egypt, I thought, played amazing, and they weren't able to seal it. Messi is still doing things now. He is missing penalty kicks. I mean, he's missed 2 now. He hasn't scored on 2 of them in this tournament, but that's not his forte, even though he's great at everything else. But they're a fun watch because, defending champs, they're being carried by a guy who's, to put this in basketball terms, it was like when the Warriors were carried in 2022 by Steph Curry, even though he was already getting older. Just take that and make it Steph Curry at his current age. That's kind of what's going on right now with Argentina. So that was very impressive. What Norway was able to do, that was awesome. I'm not I love all the countries. I find it very, very funny because Brazilians think they are just God's gift to football. And they are. They're amazing. They're amazing. But it felt good to watch them lose. It really did.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, we play this Jogo Bonito, the beautiful game. And it doesn't matter if we play in the most tactically sound manner. And our coaches Carlo Ancelotti is paid more than any other coach in the world and all this stuff. And their players are saying, it doesn't matter how we play. It just matters that we win. Well, you got your ass kind of kicked, and it did matter how you played, and you lost. So I don't like watching other countries fail, but I kind of liked watching them go, maybe we need to rethink the way that we play. And things have gotten more tactical and strategical here over the course of the past 20 years when it comes to modern soccer. So that was interesting because they got beat by a team that is not as talented, in my opinion, from 1 through 11. But they do have maybe the most talented striker in the world. It's between him and Harry Kane. It's probably Haaland, but Harry Kane's right up there with him as well. But so that was fun to watch. It was good to see Norway go through. And we've had great games. It's been fun. And I think the United States, along with Canada and Mexico, have done a great job of being awesome hosts of the rest of the world. I mean, people are tuning in. This is a really highly rated World Cup. About that Belgium-USA game, another real shame why the USA lost the way it did. It's the highest rated USA game ever. So, everybody tuned in and saw the USA get their asses kicked. But yeah, my thoughts on the World Cup, Derek, it's been high drama. It's been great games. Portugal, Spain, that was an amazing game that Spain was able to pull out late, and kind of sad because that's the end of Ronaldo's international career.
Yeah.
But in a sense, if you're Portuguese, you're probably asking, could we have done more without him? And will we be better not being tied to the hip with him, even though he's the greatest goal scorer who's ever lived, which is kind of crazy, right? It's like, could we have won more without Wilt Chamberlain is kind of the argument going on right there. So
right.
I think that's very fascinating, but it's been an awesome World Cup. I've had fun watching it. It's sad that it's coming to an end. Regardless of where USA is finished, it's sad that we have to wait every 4 years, but what I hope is that the amount of excitement that's been generated from this gets people to, for instance, in the Bay Area, go see an Earthquakes game. They're having a great season right now. If you live around a USL team, Sacramento or something like that, go see them play. We have one here in Las Vegas, the Las Vegas Lights. There's going to be an MLS or a soccer stadium of some sort built out in Summerlin. We're excited for that. So I just hope the momentum keeps building. And regardless of whether we ever win a World Cup or a major tournament like that, I just want to see it's another sport and it's a fun sport. And I think it unifies people. So it's great to watch. So it's just been really fun.
No, it has been. And tomorrow I think we have Spain versus Belgium. And then Saturday it's Holland versus Kane with England versus Norway. So it's going to be a lot of fun the next few days as the World Cup keeps going. And I'm a little surprised at this point. We are coming up on 2 weeks removed from LeBron James entering free agency and, moving on from the Los Angeles Lakers. And still nothing with his new team. And I'm kind of surprised by that. But, man, they are milking this whole thing with Rich Paul in his podcast. Max Kellerman, Bob Myers making an appearance. We'll get to that in a little bit here. But just the latest. Shams Charania says the top 3 teams at this point are the Cavaliers, the Heat, and the 76ers. He's been going on that the Warriors really can't get in the conversation until they trade for Anthony Davis, and Anthony Davis was at a Wizards Summer League game tonight, so I don't know what to make of that. I think that he wants a payday, and he's willing to take it from whoever's willing to pay him, whether it be the Warriors or the Wizards, and right now it sounds like it's going to be the Washington Wizards. Also, Shams reporting today, or actually this came a couple days ago, but Chris Haynes, of NBA TV, saying that Rich Paul is basically the guy that's spearheading this thing. LeBron James is not only taking recruitment meetings, pitch meetings from front offices, and it's kind of unprecedented the way that Sam Amick was telling us today. So basically, Rich Paul's getting all the intel and then relays it back to LeBron. But my thing is, if this is all about basketball happiness and not finances, then how can really Rich Paul make it a decision on this? It has to be what LeBron actually feels. So I think that's going to change. The thing that's interesting today is Shams was saying that GMs are actually leaving voice memos, like texts with voices, like voice recordings to GMs. GMs are doing this to Rich Paul to kind of pitch their ideas of LeBron James with their team, and that's just so weird. I think there has to get to a point where I think Steph, I guess, has talked with LeBron, but like GM's got to sit down and talk with LeBron about this stuff. Like I don't get it. Like if it is all about what makes sense for him basketball wise, basketball happiness, and it's not about the money, then he's got to talk with some of these front office executives. It's not like, Freddie Freeman's agent tells him that, hey, the best money is going to the Dodgers and leaving the Braves, and your agent makes that decision for you. LeBron's making this decision based on something entirely different. So we'll see what happens here. But, the latest is Bill Simmons went on his podcast. It's not like he's an insider by any means, but he's saying that he thinks that it's a done deal with the Cavaliers and the Warriors were used as leverage. So I don't know when this is going to get done. It sounds like it's going to go down maybe next week, and I'll be on vacation, so I can pop on anytime when I'm in Houston and we can discuss it. But I'm feeling less confident every day that it will be the Warriors.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's kind of the feeling I'm getting too. Is I'm not saying they're out of the race. I don't think it's, I know Shams is saying it's 3 teams, and none of those teams that he's mentioning are the Warriors. I still don't know how realistic the 76ers is. I don't know. Me neither. Yeah. I think out of those teams that he mentions, it's Cleveland is the most realistic. And if it is if it is just about having fun playing basketball, then I still have to think the Warriors are right there, at the top. And yeah, I still don't think it's contingent on whether they get AD or not. I really don't. I think that was always something that could have close to guaranteed it, but I don't think it was something that if they didn't get him, it bars them from getting LeBron James. I do find it very odd, first of all, I think it's odd that Rich Paul has a podcast that's on Netflix and things like that. But I also I think it's on Netflix, but I find it odd that these GMs are like, groveling is the word I used in a text to you, Derek.
Yeah.
I said it's weird. It's weird to see this because I don't think that LeBron warrants that kind of attention in terms of basketball anymore. Not that he's not important, but I don't think he's the kind of superstar player that you need to get on your hands and knees and beg for. I think at this point in his career, I think the other thing is if this is about basketball happiness, then I kind of like the approach from what we know of probably what the Warriors have done. Steph and Draymond have probably reached out and said, hey, you're going to make your decision. And this is kind of our pitch, but that's about it. And I don't think any amount of, Dunleavy Jr. or any of these GMs going out there saying, we really want, I don't think that is going to play a massive calculus into it. I don't. I think it's window dressing, and I think it's Rich Paul, ginning things up, trying to drum up interest, but not interest in the way of we want teams interested in LeBron. Interest in we want his brand to be as strong as it's ever been going into this next season away from the Lakers.
Yeah, and I think that when it comes to Anthony Davis, I don't know if there's a legit report by Shams. You don't know what's real anymore on social media, but I guess the asking price was multiple firsts, multiple seconds, multiple pick swaps, and Jimmy Butler. And if that's on the table for the Warriors, done deal, you get Anthony Davis, and that means LeBron's coming too, then I would do that. I would at this point, because the rest of it looks bleak. Quinton Post just left in free agency, sent an offer sheet with the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm not going to act like Quinton Post was the greatest defender. He improved from a year ago, but 3 for 30, I'm not losing sleep over that. They signed back, Charles Bassey, their center from a year ago. I think it was a G Leaguer. So they got depth there from Al Horford, Kristaps Porzingis, and now Charles Bassey. But besides that, it's not looking good roster-wise. It's the same damn team from a year ago. So what are they going to do? How are they going to pivot? Rui Hachimura signed with the Clippers. So it's either trade multiple first-round picks for Trey Murphy, and I don't think the Warriors really want Trey Murphy. So as far as LeBron James, what do you got to do to get him? I don't know. I think Steph Curry said it best. He's in Edgewood right now in Tahoe for the American Century Classic. Do you have the clip real quick, Alon, that we could pull up of him being asked by Anthony Slater, what's the pitch to LeBron James? And, Steph seems, I'll admit it, like he looks put off by all these questions. He just wants to golf right now, and he's kind of ducking the questions and saying that, well, I really want to have LeBron James as a golf partner. And he's also there with other golfers. He doesn't want to be all about him and LeBron James. But, celebrities are going to be there. The, NBA media is going to be there to ask some questions to Steph. So he's going to get pestered with these questions. But here's Steph Curry asked today, what's the pitch to LeBron James?
I guess what I'm going to ask about. He doesn't want to play with LeBron, okay? What is the core of your pitch right now to LeBron, and how legitimate do you think that you are in on this?
You met Slater yet? He's going to get to it. I don't have a percentage. It's kind of up to him. I feel like any place he called and say, I want to play there, you can move mountains to make it happen. And I know we're in that boat as well. So the pitch is, you want to play good basketball, be around people that know how to play the game, hopefully raise our floor on our competitiveness this year. There's good golf in the Bay. But we're an organization that's been there. He knows that, and that's really self-explanatory. It's just a matter of where he sees himself fitting. And at the end of the day, that's up to him.
Last one for me. If it doesn't happen and you guys remain stable, how okay are you with, an off season where you're mostly running it back?
It's TBD because it's what free agency is about. Bron's in a situation where the league is waiting. But other than that, it's great to get KP back. It's great to get Mel back. We're in a very unique situation. He's hurt, and Moses is hurt. They're going to miss a good amount of the season. You got to try to hold the fort down as much as you can until those guys get back, because we do have an idea of who we could be with them. But I know Mike, Steve, Joe, they're all doing the best they can to make the right decisions with what's available.
That's the professional way to say it, but I also think Steph Curry's not really happy with the way things are right now. He's happy to get some players back, but at the same time, I think that, he would be honest in saying that he's hoping for a significant move to put them in a better situation than what they were a year ago. And yeah, Anthony Slater, he's been covering the Warriors for quite some time now. He, was covering them for ESPN currently and making the trip to Tahoe. He's going to ask those questions. Steph Curry's laughing, of course he gets right to it about LeBron. But I think Steph is saying, I've made my pitch to LeBron. I'm not going to beg him, though. If he wants to come here, cool. I don't need to offer too much. It's me. It's me and Draymond and Steve Kerr. And if we could get Anthony Davis, cool. But we're not going to move heaven and earth to do that, and then you leave us high and dry. So I think that Steph is going to get pestered about this even more. I think there's going to be more stuff this weekend with the Tahoe golf tournament. But, yeah, I think that Steph is basically telling all of us, I want LeBron to be here. And Draymond's playing golf with him in Puerto Rico right now. There's a rumor going around also that maybe Draymond's going to leave the Warriors to team up with LeBron in Cleveland. I don't know if I'm buying that just yet, but I think Steph's telling all of us, I've done my part right now. And if it's not enough for LeBron to join us, then we'll move on.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe. That's what it seems like. That's what that answer indicates. And I know we have another clip as well, but that's what it seems like. And to me, that's just the most he can do. With keeping, this is Steph Curry we're talking about. Arguably, if he's not the greatest point guard of all time, he's right there with Magic Johnson. So it's one way or the other. What else can you expect him and Draymond to go do? And the Draymond leaving and teaming up with LeBron somewhere else, that's a problem the Warriors can't even worry about.
Mm-hmm.
I still am pretty confident that the reason Draymond declined his option was not so he could go somewhere else. It's just so he could free up liquidity for the Warriors.
Right.
But I don't know at this point, like it is the ball's in LeBron's court. And I love the way that is not only is it like a PR savvy way to handle it, but it's also a very alpha way to handle it too. Steph Curry knows that he is the Warriors. This is his team. And that he is not going to get on his hands and knees and beg LeBron to come over. He's like, hey, I've put it out there, and if he wants to play here, fine. And if not, then we'll. You said bleak. You used that term earlier, Derek, and he is talking about how bleak it will be, at least for part of the season, half the season probably, with the fact that Moses is hurt and Jimmy Butler as well. So, I mean, he's just laying it out there and being realistic at the same time. So I don't know if there's anything more that the Warriors can do in their pursuit besides the Anthony Davis thing, but I don't know if there's anything else they can do in their pursuit. I mean, I don't think any amount of, and this goes for all these teams just about, I don't think any amount of, please, LeBron, please come, please, we need you. I don't think that's going to make the difference. I think the difference is going to be LeBron looking at these teams and going, these are reasons I want to play with this team. These are reasons I want to play with this team. Then I have to decide. I just don't think this begging game is what's going to decide this.
And let's be real too. The three teams that Sham said recently are the favorites in the 76ers, the Cavs, and the Heat. Not in that order, but just the three teams that he mentioned. They all don't need to make any more moves. I mean, like the Heat, yes. The Cavs, they're waiting on LeBron to go get James Harden. But the 76ers look good on paper right now. They don't need to, then they're not going to budge. Like, if Rich Paul goes to them and says, we want Anthony Davis on this team, they're going to be like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, the Warriors are the only team that are desperate enough to be like, we'll consider it, but you got to make sure that LeBron comes here. And then I'm sure Rich Paul is like, make it happen, and then we'll figure it out. So they're in a tough spot right now. But I'll say this, too. I'm not buying the 76ers. I do think it's going to be the Cavaliers at the end of the day. I think LeBron went into this whole thing knowing where he wanted to go. He just wants to do his due diligence, hearing multiple teams out. And going back to Cleveland right now, you see all the clips of him for the July celebration at a club in Cleveland, having fun, hanging out with, I guess, Brandon Weeks, the assistant GM of the Cavaliers, who Rich Paul referred to as LeBron James' younger brother. So they're tight. There also is the element that maybe the Cavaliers will welcome Bronny James. But the 76ers, I don't think, are actually in the mix. I mean, yes, they're maybe in the mix because they look like the hottest team, the team that I think made a significant jump this offseason with getting Jaylen Brown. But I don't think he's going to end up there. Now, I got to call out my guy, Bob Myers. I love Bob, and he used to come on with my pops and Bonte back in the day. It felt like the injury hour, as Bonte referred to it. And Bob's been good to me. Really, 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 really nice guy. But Bob also knows how to be a good general manager. And he's not that right now with the 76ers. He's, I want to say, not even the president of basketball operations, but he just has a high-ranking title with them. And when I saw him make an appearance on the Rich Paul podcast with Max Kellerman, I didn't love it. But then again, this is Bob. So let's play the clip, and then I'll give you my reaction afterwards. This is Bob Myers on with them pitching LeBron James to the Sixers.
Yeah, and you just tell me to cut it whenever you're ready.
Here, I'd say I honestly believe this is your best chance to win. You have to decide all the other things that are equally important because it's his life, right? He has to play. He has to face the scrutiny of his decision. That'll half people will say you should have done this or should have done that, and they'll criticize him for whatever, which is his life. So he's been through all that. What I would just say is, if it's about winning, and that let's talk about this team because you can win here in Philadelphia. If you want to talk about other stuff about what's this guy like, what's that? By the way, he knows players, a lot of them better than I do. Their games. This is a guy that probably watches more basketball than anybody understands. Like,
that's a fact.
He's not just playing, and he's probably watching the game in February that nobody's watching. So he knows, not only does he know the guys, he knows how they play.
I hate to do this, Bob, but I'm going to make the pitch for LeBron in Philadelphia now.
Oh, God.
I hate to do this because Knicks just won the championship, the whole thing. But I don't think Philadelphia gives him the best chance to win. I think Minnesota does.
Mhm.
I don't think Philadelphia is the best market for him to play in. I think New York is. I don't think but there are markets that would be at least as appreciative of the win of a championship if he helped bring it as Philadelphia. But if you're talking about a combination of all things, they give him a very good chance to win. It's a major market on the Eastern Seaboard that he has not played in. The fans in Philly will love you forever if you win a championship. When you combine, like I think Minnesota gives him a better chance to win, but that's not the same market as Philadelphia.
Right. Yeah.
Like I think that New York is a better market, but maybe they won't love him as much because they just won a championship.
But I think, I don't know. You guys know. Is it what's harder to get to the finals, the East or the West?
The East won the last two.
Okay,
chips.
just say, look. What do you think?
I think this
the
year.
East won. No, the East won the last one.
Where is it harder to get to the
OKC
finals?
Yeah. Hold on, wait a minute. The East won
won
two out of the last.
They're speculating now at this point, but just the first part with Bob Myers. I think that it's easy for Bob to make an appearance on this podcast because he doesn't necessarily have he has a title with the 76ers, but I think he can remove himself a little bit because he's working with so many different teams, the Commanders. He's basically Josh Harris's right-hand man. And there is a president of basketball operations for the Sixers and a GM currently. But do I like this look with Bob? Not really. But then again, this is the same guy, and this is why I respect the hustle of Bob Myers, being a former agent and then going into the front office with the Warriors. This is the same guy that we all made fun of with the crocodile tears when Kevin Durant tore his Achilles and he went on a press conference after the finals loss and saying, Kevin, he's kind of like, what looked like fake crying to me. But that's his way to lure Kevin Durant back to the Warriors. He's going to do this stuff. We might make fun of him for it, but that's part of the hustle. That's part of the game. So even though I don't love it, and it's not anything shady by any means. I asked Sam Amick today, like, do you think like the league feels a certain way about this? Not to say like he should be disciplined for it, but like other front office executives being like, Bob Myers really went on this podcast and, pitched an idea for LeBron James to join him. Now, again, he doesn't have the role of a front office executive with the 76ers, but he's there. He's working with that team. So even though I don't love the look, I guess I got to respect the hustle that Bob's doing to kind of trying to get LeBron James to Philadelphia.
I thought it was so weird. When I saw the clip, I thought, what the hell is this? I was like, come on, Bob. You're better than this, but just do you have to do this?
Right.
And that is the flexibility that being, an advisor or, something like that, rather than actually being the GM or president of basketball operations, it gives you that flexibility to go out and do those things. But he doesn't need to do that. And this is the same guy, like you said, with the tears after the Kevin Durant thing, Hamptons 5 stuff, all this kind of stuff. So we know that he will go to any lengths to make the team that he's working for better than what they are. And he firmly believes that having LeBron will make them better. And it would. I just don't know if LeBron wants to go to Philadelphia. And Max brought up the point of, Philadelphia will love you if you win a championship. He didn't sell that enough. Yeah. Philadelphia will hate LeBron James if LeBron James is not playing well, or if LeBron James starts taking the rock out of people's hands that they want it for, in Embiid's hand or Maxi's hands or something like that. And also LeBron, if he goes there, look, let's just say the Warriors, right? If he goes to the Warriors, he's either option 2 or 1B, however you want to put it, right? It's him and Steph. If he goes to the Sixers, third option,
4th.
I don't know, 4th. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. So what is the role for him on that team other than just to be a Hall of Fame player and you know what you're going to get out of him? So I don't know. Minnesota, I love for a basketball fit, but that's just not going to happen. Cleveland, the thing about Cleveland is this. If he goes to Cleveland, I'm not going to say it's a stain on his legacy or anything like that, but it's like, that's what you want to do. You already did this. You already went back. You already did that. And if you really think you can get another championship for the land and you really do have roots there and ties and you love that and you love the people that are there, all those kinds of things, I get it. But I mean, this is your last chance to go do something different. And going to Cleveland's not really different. So maybe Philadelphia, I would look, if I was him, I would go to the Warriors or Philadelphia. I wouldn't go back to Cleveland. I wouldn't go back to the Heat. I would just want to do something different. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, but I think also, I think I said this last time, last podcast. I think that LeBron does care about narratives, and I think that this would be the one he gets applauded for, like he did. What was it, 12 years ago, where he went back to Cleveland, and this is a good ending to his career. And he's going to a team that was good a year ago, and they'd be good for quite some time. So I think it's easier for the public to digest than him going to the Warriors, and also be easy for him because, that's home. But also, again, I keep thinking about, does he want to play with James Harden? Does he want to have Kenny Atkinson as his coach? And then again, he could probably change that stuff if he wants to. So we will see what happens here, but it's feeling less likely that he's going to end up with the Warriors. But if he does end up with the Warriors, I want to do this real quick, Alon. Me and Steven would do this during the offseason when a lot's not going on. We would do a little segment called Raider Reflections. And that's where we go back and bring up something in our childhood of something in our Raider fandom. And LeBron James going to the Golden State Warriors kind of would remind me of Jerry Rice going to the Raiders back in 2001. And the reason I bring that up is because we keep bringing up, LeBron James and feeling respect from his peers, guys that are in the same phase of life or in the same phase of basketball careers. And that's what Jerry Rice did with the Raiders. Now, the Raiders at that time were coming off an AFC Championship appearance. They got their ass kicked by the Baltimore Ravens. But that offseason, they wanted to make upgrades. And that offseason, that's when Jerry Rice, after 16 seasons with the San Francisco 49ers, said goodbye. I don't know if actually he said goodbye, but I think Bill Walsh, who was the GM at the time, said goodbye to him. And yeah, that team with the Oakland Raiders at the time, it was Rich Gannon at age 36, Tim Brown at age 35. They also got Trace Armstrong at age 35. Your old high school coach, right, Alon? John Perella later on joined them at age 32. Rod Woodson at age 37. Bill Romanowski at age 36. So that was an old team. Like, we're talking about the Golden State Warriors right now being super old if they lay on LeBron. That 2001, 2002 Oakland Raiders team, those teams were old, but yet they still dominated until the Super Bowl, obviously, and the Tuck Rule game. But I had the honor this past year when Steve Young would join us on KMBR. He surprised us having Jerry Rice join him and Tim Brown. And I was like, oh my God, this is like, I'm like 11-year-old again. Like, Tim Brown and Jerry Rice are on the phone with me right now. And I just stayed silent. But Jerry Rice, said to Tim, you made me a better player. And I wanted to play with you because at that time, they were two of the oldest wide receivers in football. It was those two guys and Chris Carter. And Jerry, it's easy going, the Bay Area, go from San Francisco to Oakland. It's easy. But at the same time, playing with a guy that you respect and is going through the same phase of life and same phase of your NFL career. And I think that's something that's, intriguing to LeBron James playing with Steph Curry. So even though like the impact would be different, obviously LeBron James, he's huge. Jerry Rice was huge too, obviously. But Jerry Rice joining the Raiders, that was something where like, okay, this team's making moves and they're going to go for it and try to compete in the AFC again. With the Warriors, it would be the end of LeBron James' career, but also it's them making moves and trying to compete in the Western Conference again. So, in a way, I think there's similar situations. While one did happen, I don't think the other one will at this point. But, yeah, I think there's some similarities between LeBron James joining the Warriors and once upon a time Jerry Rice joining the Raiders.
Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, and that was an ancient team, and like you said, my high school coach, John Perella, and one of our assistant coaches was Rod Woodson. And so like, I got to be around a lot of those guys who were on that team. Bill Romanowski would come to practice. I mean, it was those guys in my mind are legends. And that was a fun team for sure. But Yeah, Jerry Rice going to the Oakland Raiders at the time was a massive move, and he went to a team that was already pretty damn strong. So think about that. In a way, if LeBron, it would be similar in a lot of ways because he's going to a veteran-laden team, guys who have been there, done that kind of thing. That's kind of the difference. A lot of those guys on that Raider team were chasing rings, right? On this Warrior team, it's not the same case, but it's different in a way too because he's not going to a team that is right there on the cusp. This is a team that if he goes to it, he will have to do his fair share of load carrying because he could be the difference of them getting to where they want to be or not.
Mhm.
So I always look at it, and it is similar to that Jerry Rice move, but it's and also, these days too, it's very easy to get from LA to the Bay Area or San Francisco now, where you would be playing if you came to Golden State. But he's got to be the guy who carries, and he's got to be the Suns. You're battling the sun.
I'm just opening my shades up because it was really bright beforehand, and now I'm realizing I didn't plug my lamp in, so I'm trying to get as much light in here as possible.
I gotcha, but I was just going to say that it would be similar in that aspect, but it would also be. I don't want to say this is a not alpha move if he goes somewhere else but the Warriors, right? But it would be an absolute just, I am that damn good still, and I'm that damn important still.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go to a team that was a play-in team, and I'm going to take them farther than my Laker team did. I'm going to take them farther than they've been since 2022. I'm going to make them a contender again. So I think that's another narrative to it as well. Whereas Jerry Rice was going to a team that was a contender, this would be LeBron James going to a team and making them a contender. Best case scenario. But I mean, it's almost the same. It's almost the same situation. And Jerry Rice at the time, and then especially after he retired, a lot of people are like, that's the greatest football player of all time. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of people who still think that. I don't think that. I don't think that about LeBron James either. But I'm not mad at anybody who argues that. I don't think that that's a bad argument to make. I just don't think they are the greatest of all. Like in football, it's probably Jim Brown. But in basketball, it's Michael Jordan. It's this is not really a debate there. In my opinion,
I agree with you on that one. I would make the debate that Jerry Rice, in my opinion, is the greatest football player of all time.
He's and I'm not. I don't think that's a crazy argument. I understand why people say that, and I understand why people say it about LeBron as well. So you got two all-time greats who are arguably the greatest of all time going to go to another situation. So in that aspect, it's very similar. But I would like to see LeBron make the alpha move and prove to everybody, no, I still am the best or one of the best in the world, and I'm the difference between being a contender and not a contender.
Yeah, and Jerry Rice had amazing performances with the Raiders, even though he wasn't the same guy. I don't remember that performance he had against the Jets in the AFC wildcard game. I want to say like 9 catches, $183, and a touchdown. And he didn't have to be that guy anymore. He wasn't carrying. I mean, he was on a loaded 49er team back in the day, too, and he was the best wide receiver in the league. But he didn't need to carry that football team with the Raiders. They were loaded with, as I said, Rich Gannon, Tim Brown, Charlie Garner joined that team, Tyrone Wheatley, the offensive line, who they had on defense, too. So, yeah, I mean, that team was loaded. He just, he wanted to come along for the ride to get one more ring, that 4th ring for him. So, yeah, I think there's similarities, but yes, it would be more of a challenge for LeBron James with the Warriors, which ultimately may be the reason why he doesn't end up with the team. But we'll see what happens here, and we'll keep track of it as we're still waiting, as Ernie once says here in the chat. LeBron watch. One more conversation on an older athlete. It was announced yesterday that Justin Verlander is going to be in the All-Star game this year. I think he's only pitched in a few games this year, but he gets the Legends pick, the Rob Manfred pick, as some call it. And Clayton Kershaw got that honor last year, and then it came out later that he was going to retire at the end of the year. Sure enough, right after they announced that Verlander is going to the All-Star game, he is going to retire from the game as well once the season's done. And he's battling a hamstring injury. I actually don't know if he's going to pitch in this game, but just what Justin Verlander has accomplished in his career, I remember him dominating the A's. That's all I'll remember him. He's 4-0 versus the A's in the postseason with 5 appearances, a 1.24 ERA with 49 Ks. Think about that. In the fucking postseason. Like, he dominated the A's.
Yep.
And of course, Giants fans remember him. You know, Pablo Sandoval taking him 3 times in a World Series game. So regardless of that, winning, what is it? He's at 266 and 159 record. He wanted to get to 300, but that's not, it's just too difficult at this point. A 3.33 ERA, 2 World Series victories, a couple of Cy Youngs, dominant with the Tigers and the Astros, went to the Mets for a little bit of time with Scherzer. But yeah, man, no doubt in my mind, Justin Verlander, a Hall of Famer, and I'll remember him for kicking the A's ass when it mattered the most.
Yeah, no, I mean, he was an A's killer for sure. And tough for him too, because he had a legitimate shot at that 300 club. And, you know, injuries catch up with you, and maybe going to San Francisco wasn't the ultimate move, but he was already not pitching as much in his last years in Houston. And then short stint he's with the Mets for like half a season too, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So
Big time contract, and then they dealt him to the Astros.
Exactly. And that San Francisco year, like, yeah, he didn't have the wins, but he was not a horrible pitcher. He was not the reason that they were losing those games. He was 4-11. He didn't get his first win, I think, until like August. Like he started 0-8, and it wasn't even his fault. He was pitching, you know, every now and then. Like I think the opener against the Mariners, he had a bad outing, but the bullpen just let him down in most of those games. So yeah, it was tough for him last year with the Giants. It was. I mean, 4-11 with the ERA under 4. It's like, what the hell? And it's Verlander. But yeah, if he would have pitched in any other era, right, or started slightly earlier, we could probably say he'd be a 300 guy. If he would have been on a team that wasn't Detroit, even though they did have some success in Detroit with him, he would have been a 300 guy as well. Let's just say he would have had his whole career with Houston. That would have been interesting because he would have been there for the crossover into the AL West. But yeah, I mean, Hall of Famer, no doubt about it. We've been pretty spoiled during this era because he came, and then, you know, 3 years later there was Clayton Kershaw. And, you know, just think about it. Verlander has more wins than Kershaw. Kershaw is the considered better pitcher, and for good reason. Kershaw is an all-time great as well. But Verlander, if he pitched in an era without Clayton Kershaw, we're probably looking at Verlander as the best guy over the past 25 years. So credit to him. It's good that he gets this final nod at an all-star game. It's tough though, man, because I really think, yeah, maybe he doesn't have it anymore. It's clear because he hasn't played very much with Detroit this year. Yeah. But 300's right there. And it's frustrating because I want to see more guys get to that 300 mark. And it's just not the way today's game works. And it's rare too, because Verlander is one of those guys who ramps it up as the game keeps going. And that's just something that we don't see a lot. Scherzer, he's the other guy who's able to do that. He gets deeper into games and his velo goes up. Like Verlander was one of those guys too when he was younger. So I don't know. We were spoiled. It was a great career. He was an A's killer though. I hated facing him. There's no doubt about it. He made the Coliseum leave angry quite a few times.
Oh yeah, he was, as I said, dominant against the A's, and three Cy Youngs in his career. So yeah, we'll see. I'm assuming he may get in the game. I mean, like it'd be fun, but he's still dealing with that hamstring injury, so it may just be an honor. You know, as far as associated to his name, we'll see if he actually gets to the game. But yeah, quite the career for Justin Verlander. And that's all I got for tonight, Alon. Anything else?
Oh, I'm going to go see... Oh, 2 things. I think I'm going to go see Supergirl and Minions tomorrow. I'm going to do a doubleheader.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a big Superman fan, so I'm going to go see Supergirl. I've heard it's not great, but I'm going to see the Minions. Yeah, I'm going to see the Minions movie as well. I already saw Jackass. The other thing I did last night, which was very interesting after the fight, was walking with some of my friends, and there's these things called Lucky Box. Have you ever heard of these, Derek?
No, I have not.
They are vending machines with authenticated, like, autographed sports cards, Pokemon stuff, jerseys, yada, yada, yada. So I, as a joke, I would, yeah, you guys ever do Lucky Box? Let's do a Lucky Box. So I put my card there, spent money that I probably shouldn't have, but I did. pick the gold authenticated jersey level. I was like, oh, I wonder who I'm going to get. Is it going to be Mendoza or someone like that? I open it up. It's yellow. And I go, okay, it's a basketball jersey. I go, is it Kobe? I see a 4 and I go, oh, maybe it's Kobe. I pull it out. Autographed Shaquille O'Neal jersey.
Oh, nice.
Authenticated. Yeah. So I won because apparently some people get some really bad stuff. And I just got lucky. I got a Shaq.
That's not bad at all, dude.
No,
Shit.
so I'm gonna frame it and it'll be a nice wall piece.
Lakers jersey, right?
It's a Lakers, yeah. It's a Lakers, and it's signed inside the 4, and it looks good and everything like that. But I was like, man, I can see how this lucky box could be dangerous for a lot of people. I will never touch one again.
Yeah, I would say so. So how much money did you put down on that?
I put 200 in.
Whoa, okay.
Yeah, but I valued it. I looked at the comps and I looked at the ones that are framed, and it's worth about double that once you frame it. So I was pretty happy about that.
No,
but I will never touch one of those again, because I saw some videos of people spending like 150 on a card, right? And so one guy I saw, he got a dual autographed Ronaldo and Messi. Amazing pull.
Mm-hmm.
There was another guy who paid for one I saw on YouTube. He got a Super Bowl moment signed William Perry, the refrigerator. And I'm like, oh, that's probably not the one you wanted.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Then there was one that was a Sammy Sosa jersey signed, and that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But then on the front, it just said it didn't say like Cubs or anything. It was not.
That's lame.
So I would be wary of Lucky Box. I did it because I'd had a few drinks and I thought it was funny, and I ended up winning on it, but I would never do it again, and I don't recommend it. They are in airports all across the country, apparently, though.
Really? Okay, I'll look out for one, but I'm not going to spend money on that.
No. Get someone else to spend money on it, Derek.
Exactly. All right. I am off to Houston tomorrow, where people are going to make fun of me. I'm going to spend more time in Houston than I did in Italy, but hey, I want to spend time with my mom and my little brother, and I'm going to see some movies. I will see Toy Story 5 and Jackass and The Odyssey, so I'll review those. But I got my laptop with me. I'll bring my microphone. And once LeBron James news becomes official, we'll react to it. Along with next week is usually when some NFL contracts go down. So we'll react to some of that. Does Puka Nacua get a deal? Does Jalen Carter get a deal? Some running backs like Bijan Robinson and Jahmyr Gibbs. And we'll be on the lookout for that, along with the new Netflix series or the new Netflix season of quarterback. I think this year it's Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco, and somebody else, but I can't think of it.
Joe Flacco?
Yeah, it's going to be Flacco, Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, and somebody else. Hang on one second while I look this up, Alon.
Joe Flacco, that's great. So he'll be kind of the Kirk Cousins guy this year.
He will be, and you'll see him make the jump from the Browns to the Bengals. But yeah, this year, hold on.
Jaden Daniels, I wonder if they'll talk about Ayuk.
Yeah, and God, I mean, just the latest with that right now, like, just real quick. I guess Ayuk is calling out Jaden Daniels again. I don't really know what to make of that whole thing. Like, I think Ayuk wants Jaden Daniels wants no part of the social media aspect of it being so public and whatnot. So whatever with that. Ayuk saying that the Niners lied about the timing of his guarantees being voided. He's wrong about that. Kyle Shanahan was very honest with the media in saying that all that whole incident happened in July of last year. So he needs to report. He needs to go to Santa Clara. Like, I don't care what's going on with that warrant for his arrest for speeding. Just let somebody take care of that. You need to go back. You need to be reinstated, and he's just going about it the wrong way. So
it's only a $700 fine too. I looked it up.
Oh, that's it? Well, he's ridiculous then.
Yeah.
It's Jaden Daniels, Baker Mayfield, Joe Flacco, and Cam Ward.
Cam Ward. Okay, that's a lot of pressure on Cam to be on there. But good,
rookie year,
good for him. You're going to be in Houston, like you said, Derek. You're going to go to the third floor of the Galleria. You're going to see my boy.
Your boy.
Johnny Dang. You're going to go get a grill. He's the guy who gives like jewelry to Paul Wall and all
that.
Yeah.
I've been in the Galleria many a time. I don't know if I need to go through there. I honestly hate shopping in malls in general. So I'll just be chilling. I'll be watching movies and hanging out with my mom and getting away from the 97-degree heat. So I'll have a good time in Houston.
Yeah, well, have fun, my friend. That sounds like a blast. And hey, while you're in Houston, this is great. You didn't get to see much of Europe, but you could go to Paris while you're in Texas.
Yeah. No, I'm gonna have some good food. There's a cigar bar right near where my mom lives. Me and my brother will hang out there, and yeah, I'll be watching the World Cup and keep a track of LeBron watch. So until then, let's plan on Sunday. But I'll let you know some family stuff may pop up, and if there's news, we'll jump on here. But if not, we may postpone till next week. So I'll let you guys know to everybody in the chat. And really, it was just the Ernies. It was like an old school show with me and Steven back when we first started the podcast. Ernie 1, Ernie 2, thank you guys as always. We'll see you guys possibly on Sunday from Houston, for me at least. Alon, say what you always say, my friend.
I'll say also thank you to Rockin'. And by the way, everybody, fight fans, we got a McGregor fight on Saturday, so that should be fun. And I will say what I always say. You guys might think that Bob Myers' tears were fake over Kevin Durant. That's just your opinion, man.